And welcome back, everyone, to the next episode in our recurring Seincast series brought to you by the Thunk Tank Podcast. This week, we're going to be doing a very deep dive into one of your favorite episodes, the Soup Nazi. A little too much analysis, a little mind reading of the characters, but really getting into the episode and answering those questions you've been wondering about a show that's been off the air for the last 20 years by men who have watched it way too many times over and over. If this sounds appealing to you, then listen to this episode. If this sounds amazing and you're ecstatic at the idea of a Seincast, then head over to Patreon. Give us some money, and we'll give you extra content. I think that's a pretty good deal. Pretty good. So if you are interested in this kind of stuff, let us know. Go over to Twitter, tell us to do more episodes on Seinfeld, and we will. If you hate it, tell us, we'll ignore it. So either way, you feel like you're involved. All right, check it out, and welcome into the tank. Enjoy, Thunkers.
Attention, humans. This is a Thunk Tank. Please insert this podcast directly into your nearest orifice for viewing pleasure.
Okay, you ready? Oh, shit.
Welcome to the Thunk Tank. Welcome to the Thunk Tank.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Come into our Thunk Tank.
Luke, don't switch to the other peanuts.
Welcome to the Thunk Tank. Come in the tank. We're thinking, and we're drinking,
And we're thunked.
Oh my god, I'm probably more beer than man if we go far enough back at this point.
All right, Seincast is live. Seincast is live.
Wow 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 wow. How long before?
Wait, what if we have like a new listener and now they're like, "Go fuck yourself"? Like, I was just trying out this podcast.
Awesome.
Yeah?
Yeah, I don't care.
You know
I don't
what?
work here.
I have something to say to you, new listener, who might be thinking of turning us off. You go fuck yourself.
You go drink your Heineken.
And I'll tell you something else. You're banned from the Thunk Tank.
All right, then.
Anyways, welcome.
If you didn't know what that joke was about, leave now.
Or forever.
No. Keep listening.
Oh,
Don't
keep
leave.
listening and donate on Patreon.
If you're a Seinfeld fan, welcome. If you're not a
180.
Seinfeld fan, I don't know what you're doing here.
Well, if anything,
Yeah.
this
You're
should be
wasting
more
all-
accessible.
You're wasting both our times.
These specific episode analyses should be more accessible.
So we are resident Seinfeld experts. Like, we've been on other podcasts as Seinfeld experts.
Shout out to podcasts about something.
Joe,
Yeah,
when you
so
say
if you don't know what you're in for yet with the sign analysis, I think you're getting a taste, right?
What I was trying to say, though, is like you may have seen this episode, The Soup Nazi, and you'll know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
Whereas our big analysis of the whole show that we did in episode 27 or something, go back and check it out. That will make no sense if you don't know the show as like a grand repertoire of lines, because we
Right.
just pretty much shouted lines back and forth.
Yeah.
But in this, we're going to try to like get into an episode and analyze it.
So what's the deal with
You're-
Soup Nazis?
your only homework is to have
come
watched
on,
The Soup
people.
Nazi. It's really easy.
Hold on, I
on
actually
YouTube.
want to try something. I want each of us to try to describe the episode in one sentence.
Oh, that's a good one. Do you want to put
Just
a
to
word
start
limit
off.
or?
It has to be one sentence. Even Joe, I'm going to let you self-police in this case, but we can all say you're going over. But Joe will judge since he's the literary prof here.
I am
So-
judging a poetry competition on Monday.
So
So,
perfect.
Irrelevant.
This is good practice. So if
is
you
it?
think if you think our sentences are too much, you just give us the buzzer. Okay?
I do say that once in a while. I'll somebody will say something and I'll say that is a grammatically correct sentence. Very well
You
done.
say that often to me. So because I think
That's
you're
good.
looking for merit.
Don't
in
do
what
that
I
on
said,
a
and
date,
you're-
if I can recommend.
Oh, that's why they stopped going out with
Yeah.
me. I knew it. All right. What's your sentence then, John?
No. I wanted Luke to start.
Okay, Luke. What's
Oh,
your?
that's a lot of pressure.
How would you sum up
Yeah.
the Soup Nazi in Well, you don't have to sum up the episode, but you could sum up the ethos of Soup Nazism, however you want to take it. You know?
Childlike grown-ups encounter a psycho soup maker.
Okay.
Okay.
Sounds like
Good,
something that could
yeah.
be in the description. Yeah.
Or like a daily news kind of headline. That was
Oh
good.
yeah, I guess I confused the prompt with like give a headline. Da, 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 da.
Or New York Post. Which one does it the most? One of those. But yeah. Okay, Tommy, you're up.
Elaine saves the local neighborhood from a soup Nazi terrorizing it with delicious soup.
That's actually really good.
I like that because you need to
That
know.
gets to the ending. I missed
You need
the
to know
ending
who
here.
Elaine is. Also,
Yeah,
But you gotta watch it to find out.
I like it. All right.
Local Upper West Side psycho woman.
Yeah, it's like, yeah, exactly. It's like, okay, now I understand. I know that personality. What about you, Johnny?
I'd say Schmoopies, Gestapo, Armoires. Check it out.
Oh, I like Johnny took like the beat poet like track to that.
Well, you said you were judging a poetry
Yeah.
competition, so I went that way with it.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to declare,
Damn.
I think, of all of yours, that they suck because the right answer was no soup for you.
That's actually
That's
the
pretty
simplest
good,
one.
yeah.
Actually, if you want to like bond with someone over like a Seinfeld line, that would be a go-to, right?
Yeah, because it's very specific in content, but also accent and volume. It stands out from a lot of other Seinfeld lines that people might either know or not
Right.
know. That you
You know, weirdly
I've probably
enough, though,
heard
the
it,
Soup
maybe.
Nazi, I was looking today. I don't know if you saw, Johnny. Hulu has like a top 10 watched on Hulu list, and Soup Nazi's not one of them. Not-
Yeah, but they're wrong.
well, it just means no. That's I think
That's
that's just
surprising.
Hulu's data about how much each episode gets streamed. But that's like the new generation of Seinfeld watchers who watch it on Hulu.
But that seems like it would be such a good clickbaity episode. The soup Nazi, and is this guy yelling? Because
Well, especially if you don't know that it's a Seinfeld episode,
I bet if you ask 9 out of 10 people,
they'll
what,
think
what
we're
else
like
is going on in that
SJWing some
episode,
like soup maker.
they wouldn't know. Yeah,
Who's
if
like
you
a
ask
white
most people,
supremacist
they
soup
would be
maker.
like, "Yeah, it's the episode with the soup Nazi." And if you said, "Oh, what's Kramer or Elaine up to?" We know the answers to those questions, but most people, 95% of people,
guarding armoires.
we're taking the envoi, and that's all there is to it.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there. Hold your horses.
Are you
all right?
talking to him? Or are you talking to me?
So instead of like trying to go through the episode chronologically, because we're not capable of that, even though it's only 20 minutes.
We'll just say lines from other episodes if we
We
try that.
we could probably go
Right.
through the episode if we knew where to start.
I came up with a thesis argument of something in the episode, or not. I don't know what that actually means. I didn't really go to school, so I'm not using that term right.
Still a
but
sentence.
I thank you.
More sentences from John.
I have a theory that I'm working on, let's call it that I think I can back up, which is Elaine goes full Karen mode in this episode, which
Karen
we all know
being what?
the internet meme of a Karen, like being a Karen.
Oh,
Like,
I've heard about that.
Like
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah.
permit patty, or like these people, these white women who on the internet who just freak out and overreact to stuff.
It's
Or,
a very
they're
like
at a
middle
wa-
class, middle aged type vibe.
a form of desperation. You need to make this right. You need to get your manager. Those people who will just berate like a menial staff member.
How
that-
dare
for
you
something
talk
that's
to me
not-
like that? Yeah.
Right, and it's like I told you we don't have it. You asked if we had it. Like but she goes full Karen. Like even in the beginning, she's not on board though. They say something about the soup. She's like, I'm stunned by this soup, and she goes, stunned by soup. Like really?
Her job is the whole. It's cold in here.
Hold on, I got the clip that gives. So I got the clip here, and there really is a question about whether is she embodying that Karen mentality that I can complain, I should get what I want because I want it, that we see so much in people, or is she just that strong, self-minded, self-possessed 90s woman that we all loved in that show? So here's the clip.
Okay.
Tell me what you think.
Didn't you already get soup?
Oh, let me set it up. She sees George standing in line for soup because he got kicked out and didn't get the soup before. And so she's going to get Kramer some because he's watching the armoire and he requested it. And her reaction here just shows that.
And
mentality.
George has already failed at getting soup, so he went back to try again.
Wait. I'm gonna.
Right.
I think we should sprinkle trivias throughout this episode. And
And
my
leave-
first one is: what soup does Kramer ask for?
Oh,
Okay, and
I
do you want to
know.
answer it right away or answer it
Answer it right away.
so the people driving at their car listening to us can think about it?
They can think right now as
All
we're
right,
just
think right now.
debating whether or not to answer it.
I think it's the Mulligatawny.
It's the mulligatawny.
Johnny,
It's the mulligatawny.
Mulligatawny.
Yeah.
Hot bowl of mulligatawny.
You got to open up with an easy one, yeah. What is it? Do you remember? There's a deeper cut.
Oh,
Because Elaine says mulligatawny, and then
Yeah.
how does Kramer describe the style of soup?
Something like Middle Eastern or something
I thought
like
it was
that.
Indian.
Indian.
Indian. Joe got it right.
Yeah.
Okay,
is,
so here's the clip.
My dementia
sorry.
is strong
Tommy?
today.
Oh, I just had a trivia. I can save it.
Is
No,
it
no,
about
keep going.
mulligatawny?
What is Elaine not like when she's looking at the soups? There's something in
Oh,
the soup that she
lima
doesn't like.
bean.
Oh, lima
Never
bean.
much of a
And
fan.
she makes like a
And
face.
he's just like,
Of course, she doesn't go in there and like kind of not follow the rules. She completely does the opposite of what he wants.
Yeah.
Anyways,
And my argument is she pulled, and that is a Karen move, is to go in looking for confrontation and trying to force one.
I'm pretty sure I'm
You
getting.
know?
Oh wait, no, this is in the clip.
Yeah,
quoting from
exactly.
the
So like that mentality, she went in and hammed it up on purpose, being like, "How can I offend this guy?" Or did she?
well,
Let's-
not
let's-
completely. She just took. I think she just didn't take it seriously. Anyway, let's
so
listen to
hold,
the clip.
hold on.
Let's go to the
Okay,
tape.
Let's,
To the tape.
Let's
Go
go
to
to
the
the tape. Let's let the tape speak. Okay.
Yeah.
Soup?
No, I didn't get it.
Why? What happened?
I made a mistake. All right, well, we'll see what happens to you.
Yeah, no. Listen, George, I am quite certain I'm walking out of there with a bowl of soup.
Hey, let me
So
I
she
think
goes,
it's just pure confidence.
and she even does the no. thing.
But she's so confident
Yeah,
in
no.
her righteousness when like she thinks she's right. Like I think she's like Dee from Always Sunny. She only enjoys hanging around Jerry and George because she gets to feel like she's better than them.
Yeah. Well, she
And
also
she's
thinks
like,
that.
I'm gonna get the soup.
Yeah, if anything in life, I can go into a place and get a bowl.
I
of
might not
soup.
be able to keep my job. Or,
Well, this
but I
actually
can
ties.
get soup.
This ties. So this is how good the writing of Seinfeld truly is, because there's so many moments like this, which is why I like analyzing an episode such as the Soup Nazi in such close detail. Because earlier in that episode, when she buys the armoire off the street from the guy, he gives her, I think that's where he gives her the nice face discount.
Yeah.
And she says, "Oh, I got the nice face discount." So she's riding.
By the way,
high
which was from $250 to $200. It's like still don't buy a random piece of furniture on the sidewalk and
with
then
no
not
plan.
have a plan.
Yeah.
No, he probably was trying to get 200 for it and just said that also.
Exactly.
Right,
Also
so
that.
that's-
There's
so
no
that-
price tag
So
on
that's
it.
the point. Yeah, exactly. There was really no nice face discount. He just sort of says that because he was going to charge $200 anyways. But she's actually so stupid that she thinks like
desperate for
"Oh,
love and attention."
I'm like, yeah, I'm like a good looking '90s chick. Like, yeah, I need this validation that like I can
Yeah,
I can get
you're
deals
right.
and stuff. And so she goes into the Soup Nazi with that energy, and the Soup Nazi is not playing.
He's
that
like,
game.
no, I'm a Nazi.
Yeah.
That,
Of soup?
that means I want to see you walk in and have some humility, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You should be
Joe,
scared of me.
Yeah.
You're totally right because like when Kramer, the whole thing is she can't move it into her apartment until the next day, so Kramer's going to camp out on the
'Cause
street
Seinfeld
and guard
universe.
it. Like
guy
stake a
can't make
claim
an
like
exception.
a prospect. Yeah, like a prospector, he's going to stake a claim and guard the armoire.
Yeah.
Which fails, ultimately fails. But when she realizes she can't move in, she turns to the good face, nice face discount guy and goes, "Oh, you got to watch it, hold it for me."
Yeah.
Until tomorrow, he goes, "I'm a guy on the sidewalk. I don't have layaway," and just
Yeah.
walks away.
Yeah, yeah.
And she's like, "No, don't just walk away," because like he clearly got the $200 and was like,
course,
"Oh,
yeah.
I'll move it for you."
He
too,"
was
or
probably
whatever.
being nice to just even carry it to her apartment on his
right,
little
and he's
trolley
like,
thing.
Yeah, it's like your face isn't that nice. I'm not gonna take
Yeah.
it back and then
Right.
bring it back tomorrow. And it's like, no, we're done here. I'm gonna just walk away from you and never see you again. It's
Right.
New York.
Just walk away.
Right. No, she definitely you remember I forget which episode. I think it was also in season 7, which this is a classic season. Season 7 is like this is with that podcast about something we did
Soup
an
Nazi is season
analysis of
7?
the whole season 7.
Soup Nazi.
Soup Nazi is season 7, episode 5 or 6.
It is
yeah.
really.
Season 7, episode 6.
There you go. And
It's a killer season.
so I think it was a bit earlier or maybe a few episodes later. Elaine. Oh, it's when the guy doesn't remember Elaine from meeting her at the party.
Oh, and she starts to go out with him.
She's so shocked that like a guy
Yeah.
would not
Yeah.
tag in his memory like I'm beautiful. And she looks
Right.
at Jerry for a moment. It's like, you got to validate me. Like I'm hot, right? I guess you could tell me because I need to know if I'm ugly. But I
Was
always
that the one where she says, "I mean, come on"?
yeah. And
And
she
he goes,
looks at him
"I
like
know."
kind of like, and Jerry's like doesn't give her any like
Yeah.
response either way.
Yeah.
He's just like, yeah. And she's like,
I know.
Is it possible I'm not as attractive as I think I am? Right?
Yeah. And then she
thinks
goes out
she's
with him.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's Dee's downfall from Always Funny. Oh, he's funny.
Always funny.
Always funny in Sunnydelphia.
No, in Philadelphia, you idiot.
Anyway, it's
Your
the same,
code, man.
it's the
Give me
sa-
your code.
It's the same problem. They're both losers hanging out with losers, but they think they're better than them, but they're not doing anything to show that they are.
No.
They
Yeah,
have little
right,
aspects
exactly.
of hope, and then they just fall back into the old patterns.
Yeah, there's nothing to actually reinforce any of it. It's all
There's
on
no-
shaky ground, and that's
Yeah.
why the Soup Nazi's great. He exposes.
Not that they don't have their own fair share of bad luck, because they do. It's the Seinfeld universe.
Yeah.
Like, shit happens.
Yeah, there's a lot of
The
genie,
universe, like,
genie
winks at
maneuvering.
you in, like,
Yeah.
I can fuck you over kind of way. Not
Well-
even a fun way.
Well, even the Soup Nazi episode, there's a lot of genieing going on, even in that, where the Soup Nazi
Who's the genie in that one?
Kramer, as always, because Kramer hooks Elaine up with the other armoire, and it turns out that it's the Soup Nazis, and it turns out the Soup Nazi was being nice to Kramer because Kramer,
Gets him.
Kramer got him. And he
Kramer
said-
gets everybody in a deep way.
and so, but the Soup Nazi's fault is that he can't actually, connect with somebody. He says, well, this will help somebody who who is hurting. Like, it's a level of deferment. So he's like, if you want it, you can take it. It's yours. And then Kramer validates him. So he can't make that actual person-to-person connection, and he winds up getting himself genied because of it.
Yeah.
That's interesting, but I don't know. I think Jerry is more of the genie in this episode. If anything, Kramer is just
Maybe.
kowtowing to
I was going to say the same
authoritarian
thing, Johnny.
figures.
Because Kramer is a clear genie in other episodes. In this one, he kind of was like the weird, pathetic guy who couldn't stand. He looked pathetic. He should have fought those guys and said, "Get the fuck away from my armoire! You can't just come up to an armoire in the street and take it." And yeah, I'm going to say something to you. You have an earring on. Like, let's tussle.
Who doesn't want to wear the ribbon?
If Elaine shows up and says, "Where's my armoire?" I'm going to have a black eye at the very least. You know what I mean? And then Jerry. He's
Wait, so what
equally a
about them
pussy.
having an
What the hell
about
did
them
he
having
do?
an
He should.
earring makes you think you could take them, Luke.
Yeah, I want to go down that rabbit hole a little bit more. Can we focus
We're almost
on
at the
that?
fifth. We're almost at the 15-minute mark. I was waiting for something like this to come up.
Yeah, Luke, elaborate.
I meant he
on.
had
Shane.
more of a feminine character than
Oh,
than
boy,
a
here we go.
tough guy masculine character.
Well, that's
Okay. That's better than I
Safe
expected.
answer,
to be
right?
fair. He said that. He answered that a lot better than I thought. That's we'll shelf that for now.
Please don't do
But
the
no,
equal. Please don't challenge me like that at the end of the episode. I can't guarantee I'll come out the other side.
But no, because Jerry is the one who infects them with the soupness. Because he's like, oh yeah, Kramer's been talking about it. I went. It's great. He's the one who takes George, gives him a taste, right? Very genie. Like, I gave you a taste. What more do you want?
And then eats it and goes,
And
ha 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 ha. Oh, it's so good. Oh,
you're
it's so
yeah, and
good.
he's like refuses to share, and even says, "This is what I get for living under a Nazi regime." He's like, "You should have towed the line. This
Yeah,
is what you get.
yeah.
You deserve it. You deserve no soup, George."
Yeah, but you're
like a very fascistic.
Yeah.
You're mixing Jerry up with being a genie, where it sounds to me like he's more of a virus. He's infected
But no,
them.
but so I'm just saying he does that, but then he also does the whole. He brings the whole schmoopy thing. He's overly expressive of
He-
the PDA with his girlfriend in front of the group. And Elaine might also be a genie this episode because she ruins the. She gets what she wants out of the universe somehow. She manages to get an antique armoire once she decides
wins
that's
in that
what she
episode.
wants. She wins. She takes
does,
down
yeah.
her enemies.
Rare event for a Seinfeld character to win.
But I love it because they win
She
just
wins
enough
totally.
where you don't know if they're going to win or lose in any of these chaotic situations. That's what's so great about it.
Because
but-
the wins very easily turn into the not wins.
Well,
but not usually
a shittier
between
sitcom you would
episodes.
never win. Like, there are plenty of sitcoms where, Sal lost again. It's the end of the episode.
Yeah.
You know?
But she's the all-powerful genie in this one because she gets Kramer to do what she wants. Protect my armoire. You lost it. Well, get me an armoire. Like she doesn't even have to ask. He just does it. Gets the genie an armoire. She also takes out the soup Nazi, but she also is the one that when George says in the clip I just played right after that is like, oh hey, isn't it annoying the whole schmoopy thing? And she goes, yeah, we should say something.
Yeah.
Knowing
Oh, yeah.
she knew
That's so good.
then she was gonna like that was her starting her.
Yeah,
going
she
full
was
Karen
genie
mode.
this episode. Yeah,
Like
Yeah.
she said that she says,
sure.
"Oh, I'm
conniving.
definitely."
If not a genie, a conniver.
Yeah, she goes, "I'm getting that
Is that a
soup,"
word?
and then in the next sentence goes, "Yeah, we should say something about it." Throwing George under the bus, like ready to throw
And
the
she-
new soup Nazi under
As
the bus.
George
later
is
in
saying,
the
like,
episode,
"Oh,
too.
we all think," and
As he
she's
comes-
walking out the door.
She
Scary.
slams the door.
Yeah.
Right,
She
as-
times it with perfect genie precision.
I
You're
love
right.
She gets
I lo-
up as soon as Jerry goes. She goes, "Oh, we're kind of on the outs right now," and George goes, "Oh, huh." He goes, "Does that make you happy?" And as soon as Jerry asks the follow-up,
sense it.
she's like, "I know George is going to crack under questioning." She gets up, starts getting her coat, heads
She's
and times
sharp.
it perfectly.
She smells the blood.
And Jerry goes, "Come on, spill it, right?
Yeah,
You know,
no, he goes, "I know when
see you're
you're
not happy about something. Spill it."
Say it.
No, he is happy.
That's why Jerry's
That's the
friends
thing.
with
He
George, because he can always have the intellectual upper hand, you know? Yeah, Jerry has trouble holding in a lie once in a while, but like George does not have a poker face.
Yeah.
And Jerry does have a poker face. He can blend in if he wants to. Same with Elaine. They're
Yeah.
smart enough to like manipulate. George is so emotional. He's just overwrought with whatever he's thinking about. He can't even hide it.
Yeah.
It takes like a stupid character like Susan to not notice. Like when
Right.
George
Oh,
gets
the
all
irony.
schmoopy whoopy with her at the diner, and she's like, "George,
Yeah.
I really want to say, like, I appreciate your courage."
And he's like, what?
And he's
Wait, hold on. I got that clip.
He goes, "Okay." Yeah. He's worried about the tip. How much tip for an $8.50 bill at the diner?
Oh, yeah.
It's
And
like, how about just imagine it was a $10 bill?
But they also, now that you
Then you're
mention
nice.
that makes me think, too, that they also have micro and macro genie powers or vibes going on.
Kramer's got the largest
Yes.
genie powers of them
Genie
all.
entity.
Yeah,
Yeah.
over the full spread. But if you look at that episode, so George gets genied by Jerry because George is left.
Now
with
he has to
a
do the
a
schmoopy.
schmoopy situation, and
Yeah.
Jerry's free. He's like, "Yeah, we broke up because I'm not engaged."
He totally
And that's always been
miscalculates.
what George is resenting
And
Jerry
that's-
of, like, he has the
for that,
freedom
for
and
that
I'm
season.
stuck.
Yeah. But at the end of the season, that season ends where George is free and Jerry is now engaged. So the genie,
Right.
Jerry's been genieing George that entire season, but at the end. And then, of course, the next season he gets out of it because he's still a genie. Like,
Well,
you know.
I think
George does it. George does it to himself in this episode because he implodes
Yes.
his own relationship and the comfort zone he's established to just get back at Jerry, and he forgets Jerry's girls don't last a week, and
'Cause he's an idiot.
Now
George doesn't
now
have the
he's-
time scale of a week. He goes like maybe 3 days forward max. That's what he's
that's
thinking.
why he's
second,
engaged.
like second by second, like a rat. That's how George stands.
Yeah,
operating.
exactly.
But I have
Just
the
gotta
I have
get the next
clip
meal.
I have the clip of Susan saying that. You ready?
How much tip do you leave on 8:15?
That's what he asks.
Yeah, sweetie. I just want you to know that I was so proud of you today, expressing your feelings so freely in front of Jerry and all. Just knowing that you're not afraid of those things, it's such a great step forward in our relationship.
Yeah, he was looking away and then looked at her when he said, "Huh." It's such a great.
He looks
You're like,
back and forth
uh-oh.
a couple of times because he's trying to figure out what to tip on 8:15.
Right. I also
Which the
noticed
math
about that
isn't
scene,
hard,
Johnny.
so you know he's trying to figure out how he can round down, like how he can get what he can.
well, he
get
doesn't
away
want to
with.
leave 5 cents extra if he doesn't have to.
Yeah.
Right.
but
what were you gonna say?
That Susan
It's the minimum.
equally is like stuck in her own fucked up situation because
Yeah, but she's an
she
even
said a whole
bigger
thing to
idiot
George.
'cause she's
He goes,
engaged to
"Huh,"
George.
and then she continues the conversation. Like she doesn't notice that like the person across from her, first off, doesn't listen to her.
Yeah.
and second off, wasn't being all smoochy woochy. He's
Yeah.
playing his own like weird like scheme about some meaningless shit. He's annoyed at Jerry, and that becomes a scheme or something. Like it has nothing to do with her. That's for sure. She's just the
how is that
object there
getting-
to do it.
And if Jerry is comfortable with personal displays, public displays of affection, how would him doing it with his girlfriend, his fiance, get back at Jerry? I'll show him.
Well, he's just trying to annoy Jerry, I think.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
but
trying
how?
to do
Like,
to
he's
Jerry
clearly-
what Jerry's done to him.
But Jerry's clearly fine with it. He's doing it with his girl. So it's like, yeah, he doesn't care. And that's why they just start making out with their own girls in the booths at the diner in the middle of the day to try to one up
It's
each
so
other.
stupid. It's so like Seinfeld level dramatic. Like nobody who's even into being all schmoopy boopy
Yeah.
does that. Nobody does that.
Yeah, it's like not even high schoolers would. You know,
You'll
there's no
see
level
people
of
kissing
immaturity.
like that. Like if you've stumbled, if you're walking in like a walk through a beach or something like that's a more secluded area, you once in a while stumble across two lovers who look like they just told each other I'm in love with you, and they're like making out with that like intensity of like who cares who's around us, like this is like the most present moment, whatever. Like I've seen that a couple of times, but other than that, people don't smoopy boopy in public. I don't know. Have you seen that in the real world ever? I just haven't.
Oh, yeah.
I've seen it a
yeah.
little bit, but just not that extreme.
It's kind of rare.
I've seen like a girl nibble on a guy's ears like way too long, and it's like you're being annoying at a bar. Like he's annoyed by you. You don't see that.
Oh
he's
wait,
annoyed.
no, I've definitely seen this at bars. Like,
You know, it's a weird thing you see at bars.
But that's hookup people, like new people. I mean, like
not
established
necessarily.
couples.
Yeah. That's immediately what I was thinking of. I was thinking of every time I've seen a very large girl make out with a very skinny guy, and I've never seen a very skinny girl make out with a very large guy at the bar.
Well, because
They
the
might be
bar
dating, they
is
might
for
be
so the
together.
girls can choose the guys, not,
Yeah.
not the
Yeah.
guys
No,
can
I'm
choose the
saying
girls.
I've seen very fat, large men date skinny women. I'm one of those guys. It's just you never see if they're making out like that, gross like at the bar. It's always the other way. It's
you
never
and your
that
wife
way.
don't do that at the bar?
Girls
Or
are,
I guess sometimes.
girls are almost always the guy gets drunk and he is willing to go below his league, and then
That's
the girl is never going to. Not, it's less common, I feel,
So there's
for
a-
the girl to get drunk
Yes.
and then
There's a great-
bang somebody that's way below her.
There's a great
league.
Jerry line that he says to George in the Sponge episode. And
Sponge-worthy.
George says, like, why do they make these, those damn
Condom
condom
wrappers,
wrappers
yeah.
so difficult? And Jerry says something along the lines of, I guess it's so that the woman has one last chance to change her mind. As
And
if
George
like,
goes, "Oh, you just have a line for everything, don't
because
you?"
and George knows that's absolutely like convenient to that purpose, and to your point that not only has in a lot of cases somebody thinking maybe I don't want to sleep with this person, but you should have multiple opportunities to work through that, right?
Well, especially
so the
in this-
condom wrapper is one last one to be like, okay, this idiot can't even open a condom wrapper
in time,
yeah,
which means like
we're done here. Yeah,
and
we're done now.
in Seinfeld, they're just such awful people. So
Terrible
They're
people.
always going for the angle of how can we manipulate the women to want to sleep with us, as opposed to how
the
can we
implication.
be the kind of person that a woman would want to sleep with. Like
Right.
their framing
But-
is just
but-
like skewed. They're aiming at the wrong thing.
But also, if in George's case he can't maintain an erection, let's use medical terms, maintain an erection long
Okay,
enough
Dr. Johnny.
long enough to open and
Dr.
adorn
Genie
a condom, I think is the phrase, right?
I'm sorry, what?
I said if he can't we're using technical terms. If he can't maintain an erection long enough to open and adorn a condom, then
Adorn?
yeah,
That's
it's like
medical
why are you
terms.
going if you're not that
That's medical
attracted to this woman that you're trying to convince to let you have sex with them, like
It was
why
the
are you
makeup
trying
sex too.
And why are you trying
Yeah.
this hard if like you know what I mean? You're just
not on the makeup sex.
forget it. And he's like, forget it. It's over. It's done. Like
No,
there's
what
no
is he
need
Because
for-
they
like,
defined their
20
whole
seconds,
life.
and he's just like, it's too late.
Yeah, he just
too
goes,
late,
it's
forget
too late.
They've
The
defined
time
their
has
whole life
passed.
around having sex.
Yeah.
How could they ever like restructure their entire being by being like, I'm going to make
Yeah.
sex less of a priority? It only
now that you
happened
mention
once
that,
with
that's a
George when he stopped having sex and he got really smart.
Right, but it's
that's
also
not this episode though.
Exactly.
even
We're
the
already
battle
fearing
where Jerry's
that.
playing chess with his sex brain, his
The
penis
levees
brain.
are shaking.
Oh yeah, so back to the soup Nazi. So Tom, what do you think about
Soup Nazi, I did have a question for you. So you see the scene where he says no soup. for
Tommy,
you,
go.
Of course. Now, the I don't know, the worker there, she grabs the soup out of his hand.
Oh, yeah, she's
So my
great.
question is,
She has the
what
change
are the
ready to
kind
go?
of people that
Yeah.
are working there? Are they related
People that
to the
care-
soup Nazi?
Oh,
in some
almost
way?
definitely in the
Are they
same-
just of the same?
What is the soup Nazi's ethnicity?
That was my next question.
You're not allowed to
They're-
ask that.
They're passionate about
So
soup.
more
He's
curious,
Middle Eastern.
whatever it is.
Is he?
If those people,
I would guess
the
he
people
was-
that
he
work
This is a
there
good
are
time
of
for
the
my
same-
trivia question.
Okay.
I want to go into Tommy's thing, but to answer one of the questions, here's the trivia. What is the soup Nazi's name?
Al Pacino.
No. Good guess. You know what? Joe gets partial
I
credit.
actually-
No, yeah, you have to accept that.
Yes. He looks just like him.
Has anybody ever told you look just like Al Pacino?
Oh, I know. They say.
God damn it,
they
it's in
say
my
his
brain
name in
somewhere.
The finale, don't they?
Oh, Tommy got it.
Yeah, I
he's
don't
only
know his
appeared
name,
in
though.
two. He's only appeared in 2 episodes. This one and the finale. He comes back.
That's so many characters.
Because
That
they call
probably-
his name and then he just bursts in. It's like,
And
oh my
they,
god,
they,
it's him.
they call him to the stand and they go, "Who?" And then they realize who
God
it
damn
is.
It's got to be
But,
something hilariously Nazi-esque, no?
Wow.
Just say it.
Well, I think I should just play the clip, probably. Right?
Okay.
Oh, yeah, go to the clip.
I've really
Run it
been
down.
enjoying being the clip guy. By the way,
Yeah, clip it.
You're good at it too, because you got the Hulu without commercials.
Yeah, that's what he's got.
what way to give me a compliment and then take it away by saying because of the it's what you have set up. You're set
And it's
up,
not even your
'cause of you.
subscription, right? It's your sister's.
And that also.
So
that,
what have
yeah.
you done, really? You've logged into an app.
It's almost as if you have no business experience whatsoever.
Yeah, it's almost as if you have no business speaking
I don't
on a
know what
podcast
this
at all.
is supposed to be.
Well, I'm
actually,
just trying to get ahead.
It auto logs you in, so I didn't even have to do that.
Oh yeah, does it scan your face or your finger?
All of it. All right, here's the clip.
Yeah.
Hello.
This is the trial in the finale. We're jumping episodes just because it's the only other episode the Soup Nazi's in.
It's part of our
we
thesis
we
paper.
get new information
Faster.
about it.
Call Yev Kassem to the stand.
Yev Kassem.
Call Yev Kassem.
Oh my god.
Yev
They're like,
Kassem.
who's the fuck is that?
Soup Nazi. You people have a little pet name for everybody.
State your
You
name.
people have a little pet
Yev
name for
Kassem.
everybody.
Could you spell that, please?
No. Next question.
How do you know the defendants?
They used to come to my restaurant.
And then it cuts to the clip.
Medium turkey chili.
Medium crab bisque.
They're being such good little boys.
Yeah.
They are. And now it does the whole.
Didn't get any bread.
This is how
Let
George
it go.
loses it the first time.
Excuse me, I think you forgot my bread.
You want bread?
Yes, please.
$3. What? No soup for you.
He says what? He's just, nope, done.
Because
Don't question the soup Nazi.
don't question.
I love how it goes
don't
from
question-
$2 to $3.
Don't question my arbitrary increase, escalation of tensions, because for whatever reason, the Soup Nazi has decided you're going to be treated unfairly,
But-
even if it doesn't seem like
but
he's signaling you out.
Why is the Soup Nazi respectable?
He suffers for his soup.
Well, he's
Thank
willing
you,
to draw a
Tommy.
line. He's willing to lose a customer. He believes
he?
in his
Yeah.
soup so much that he knows no matter how strict and how much of a dick he is and how much he turns
Yeah,
customers
but
away in
why is
rude
he not
ways,
giving George soup?
he'll have a line
bread?
out the door.
But why is he not giving him bread in
Dude.
the first place? That's not a principle.
This is what
platform.
He's got
yes,
the-
it is.
It is, Joe.
How?
Joe.
He's got
The Soup Nazi levels George with his eyes right away. He sees a weak, broken man. And George walks up to there, and
But then
you can
George
see the
should
Soup
call
Nazi
him
looking
out.
at him like you're already on thin ice because I could tell you're a piece of shit of a person. And the Soup Nazi's a deep guy. He's not nice on the surface, but he has deep principles.
That's
All right.
And he levels George with his eyes. He
That's
goes,
his
I
job.
see you.
I thought maybe it was Elaine got the nice face discount. I figured George got the bad face tax.
I don't know. George
Surcharge.
just carries himself
Yeah,
like
the shit
but
face
don't get
surcharge.
But the Soup Nazi puts up with much more from her than he does from George.
prettier face.
Because her face discount did.
He's
work.
also shocked though because she's so like lewd and lascivious with not respecting the
yeah.
rules. That's a callback to another episode, by the way. Jackie Childs.
That's true. She's more
lewd, lascivious,
flagrant.
She is.
salacious.
Very
No,
early
he's
on,
fair.
too, and
He's fair with the.
He just lets her go along with it for first few things. Like she's just not.
Yeah, but he's almost intrigued at first because the Soup
Yeah.
Nazi would respect a wild character like a Kramer. He likes people that
Yeah,
are just
that's
being
true.
themselves. But as soon as he detects you're one of these like fake kind of
I
like
don't-
performance characters, I think
don't think
he
so.
freaks out at you. I don't
I
know.
don't
Why
think
does
so,
he like
Luke. I
Kramer?
think
Why does the Soup Nazi like Kramer?
He had
Worked for
no
the script.
intention. He had no intention of. Elaine
always
was
that
never going
answer.
to.
Yeah.
As soon as Elaine walked up and went and banged on the counter, she was not getting her soup.
I disagree with that.
Wait, but
She
he
was
let
not
her
getting the
order.
soup.
He was still
We're
intrigued in
loading
that
it up,
moment.
Yeah.
Whereas
And I think you're right. I think he respects like people who
Who
Uh,
would be like eccentric?
to a
he gave
to a point.
George.
Yeah.
He, has his
He
limit,
gave
yeah.
George a chance though, and he's like, "You want bread? Fine, extra charge."
Well, if
And then
George
when
had
he
just
pushed-
said my apologies and paid the $2, I think the Soup
Would've been
Nazi would have
fine.
been like, he's learning.
Yeah, but everybody else got bread for free.
Yeah, because
So-
George's a petty little man. He's wondering what to tip on an $8.15 diner bill.
And you think the Soup Nazi just read all of that in a
Yes,
second?
I think he did intuitively.
No,
I
see-
think the Soup Nazi had that kind of
I think
deep
you're giving
intuition.
him. I think you're giving him too much credit because if I went to a soup place with somebody else
trying
and
to
they
prop
got
up a guy from the Middle East. Jeez, Joe.
and I got
Wow.
bread or they got free bread and I had to pay for bread, I'd say fuck this. I don't want your damn soup. I wouldn't
Yeah.
accept
Well,
the soup.
can I-
I would turn down the soup.
Yeah, but the whole point of the episode is the soup is so good
crab
that
bisque.
all the irrationality, any other shop that treated a shop doesn't even have to be rude to the Seinfeld characters. It just has to like do something they don't like, and they'll be like, "Fuck that place. We're boycotting it."
Yeah, I
right?
guess.
It's
Well-
It's because the soup was so good that like none of their we realize they're not principled because If the soup is good enough, they'll break any other principle.
Well, I figure it's easier to make up with Sheila than the soup Nazi.
Well, even Jerry's like, I'm willing to just be single the rest of my life as long as I can have access to this soup.
Yeah.
It knocks Elaine on, her ass. She has to take a seat after taking the first taste. She's like, I gotta sit down.
Look,
yeah,
it's more.
You're right. It's more of a genie serum than it is a soup, really.
Yeah.
That's the moral.
But also,
it's a genie serum. Ooh,
Genie serum?
That's a good way to put this.
We'll put that in the description.
How many bad sandwiches?
Luke, put that in the description right now while you're editing. Go.
How many bad sandwiches did Elaine try to eat just to get the free sandwich?
I've eaten a lot of crap.
Yeah, like it's that. You're right. That's totally their character.
Is there a captain's hat involved in this? Maybe.
I have an answer to Joe's and Tommy's questions with my next clip. I know there's a lot of clips in this episode.
What was the question?
This is about why does he like Kramer? You're like, oh, he must like interesting characters. That's not why he likes Kramer. If anything, he likes Kramer in spite of his hipster doofus outlook, or however it is Elaine describes it.
That's if you want to define Kramer as hipster doofus. You could also describe him as like oddly deep, or just a genie.
Well, he's all of those things. That's why he's a hipster doofus.
Well, but yeah, I mean,
it's not necessarily a bad thing.
He's a hipster doofus when Jerry and George get something obvious that Kramer doesn't get, and he looks like an idiot. But when Jerry and George are lost in their petty little affairs, Kramer's the one that reveals that he actually has principles, and he's like, "You idiots! You don't see how obvious this is."
He's actually oftentimes a really good friend. He'll just
is he ever a bad friend?
No, I mean, as far as he is aware of what being a good friend is.
What is an example of Kramer like fucking somebody over,
burning down the cabin?
Yeah, he has a dog. I was going to say
and stealing
Joe,
Jerry's girlfriend while he does it.
Joe, he very much has a dog.
Okay,
should we go on?
One.
Sorry, Johnny.
He has a dog brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, no, he's loyal to the extent that he has a dog brain. He'll lend you his deli slicer. He'll lend you his car. Not a problem. He won't think twice about it.
But he'll come into your apartment.
Yeah.
To go back to this episode, he'll come to your apartment and grab a couch cushion and just walk out. And Jerry's goes, well, where are you going? He goes, well, I'm going to camp out on a stoop to guard the armoire for Elaine, which is a good friend move, right? I'm going to protect your antique armoire for you. But I'm just going to take
not
your
have a couch?
But...
Like, what? Why doesn't he take his own couch cushion?
He's just going to go in and just take, because like a dog just walks in the room, sees your shoe, picks it up. And like my dog does that. And I'll go, hey. And she'll look at me like, oh, what? Did you want to? Did you not want me to take this shoe? And it's like, I never want you to take the shoe.
Kramer is like what? Kramer's like,
I need a couch cushion. I need a couch cushion. Automatically opened Jerry's door and was like, a couch cushion.
Yeah, exactly. I think the best way to describe Kramer,
but he doesn't have great follow through. He has a dog brain.
Kramer is if a Greek
but never
god
malintent.
Just mated with a dog, and that's what came out. You know those Greek myths where Zeus fucked a swan and you get Achilles or whatever? Kramer is Zeus fucked a terrier or something.
Right.
And you get Kramer out of that.
Yeah, that's about right.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, he's a complicated character because sometimes he's like with the whole bike thing.
Oh yeah, the Solomon bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather give it away than see it destroyed. It's like, yeah, that's the wisdom of Newman, apparently, somehow.
Well, Solomon, but yeah. You have a clip?
Yes. This clip explains a lot about the soup Nazi. I think this is the most character development in a quick.
Take it. It's yours.
How can I possibly thank?
Oh, so he just gave the armoire. He hears the story about how the guys steal the armoire from him. And he goes, well, I have an extra one. You can have it.
Yeah.
And Kramer's just like, what a nice guy. Like, I just tell him this story. Just like, he's already letting me like vent my troubles, and he's going to fix my problem for me.
And Kramer's got the most relaxed posture in that soup shop. Everyone else is like on guard, and Kramer's like, he's like, a 10 hut, and the guy's like, at ease, soldier.
Well, you're
so
right.
now Kramer's at ease, and he's just chilling with the soup Nazi.
But Kramer is also, out of all of them who go in there at any point, is being the most himself naturally. Like you said, even when Elaine goes in, she's trying to prove a point that I can get something. Kramer's going in there as
right.
Kramer.
Elaine's half being natural, half like being,
which is why she lasted
I'll
so
get
long.
The soup.
Yeah,
she hams it up.
Kramer goes in with humility. He's just like, I'm me.
Yeah,
I'm Kramer.
Which is respectful.
Who is he?
He's a doofus, but he's a respectful
man?
doofus
I'm
when
Kramer.
he can be. Yeah,
you know, he's always I'm Kramer.
Yeah.
He knows who he is.
I think that's it. Yeah,
he's the guy who's accepted that he's a dog. He's Kramer. That's Kramer for you.
For now on, Cosmo.
Like it's one of those things that you can't just describe the concept with other words. it's a Kramer. Like if I had a new roommate and I was trying to describe him to you and he was
he's a
anything like
Kramer.
Kramer,
Yeah.
you'd be like, what's he like? I'd be like, I mean, he's kind of like a Kramer divided by 3. You know, you'd be like, all right.
Know exactly what you mean.
Yeah.
But we're in a
roommates.
post Kramer world. Like to explain the Beatles to someone in the 40s when it makes sense. Now to say, oh, he's a Kramer.
What?
Like it makes sense.
That didn't make sense.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you meant by that.
That would be like saying explaining Kramer to somebody in the 70s wouldn't make sense. Yeah, because they didn't know who he was. He didn't
Well, I
exist
haven't
yet.
gotten to make a point in a while, and I wanted to chime in.
Play the damn clip.
Oh, you're drinking water now, Johnny?
There's actually a water bottle that you can hide a beer bottle in.
Yeah,
It's
my
got
uncle
like a
has that.
false bottom. It's fucking
He brings it
awesome.
to concerts all the time.
I'm drinking a Peroni right now.
Play
here's
the clip.
It keeps it cold for a while, too.
All right, shut up.
Shut up.
How can I possibly thank you?
You are the only one who understands me.
You suffer for your soup.
Yes, that is right.
You demand perfection from yourself, from your soup.
How can I tolerate any less from my customer?
Gazpacho, por favor.
Por favor.
I'm part Spanish.
Adios, muchacho.
Kramer's like, you better go.
So, like, this is another point I came up with rewatching this episode. Is the whole time I don't think the main thing reason I don't think Kramer is a genie is I think he's just a Nazi sympathizer and collaborator really the whole time because like Elaine asks him. Elaine asks him to do something. He does it, and then like is freaked out. It shows way more follow through on getting her a dresser and saving it than he does on most of his own personal life. But he just seems to. She when he says, "I got you an armoire," or it's from the soup Nazi, she goes, "Get out!" and she does the Elaine
Shoves
stuff.
him through the door.
Through
that
the door
opens
and
it.
knocks him down like she's looking down at the ground. And the conversation continues. She doesn't apologize. He's not outraged.
It's just an assumed thing that Elaine does.
That she can do that to him. Yeah,
That's
he's
still
just,
technically assault.
She's got
And then-
superpower.
Yeah.
And it's like, and not to draw too much of a comparison to Hitler, but here I go. If the soup Nazi is supposed to
going.
be a Nazi, like ethically, he's bad because he puts his fascistic soup state
Por
needs
favor.
above
His
the
rules
individual.
are haphazard and fascist and
right
applied
Like,
in like a
Well, they're very
unfair
they're
way.
very punitive too. No soup for you. 1 year.
Highly punitive. Yeah.
But that's kind of a Nazi-esque fascistic mindset. Is I demand perfection from myself so I can make a more perfect state. So of
Right.
course I'm going to demand perfection from you, or you're going to go to some camp or
My
something.
citizens.
Like that's that kind of Nazi
It's
mentality.
just a hilarious
And not only
blend
is
with
Kramer
capitalism of the Upper West Side.
And not only does Kramer understand it, he's sympathetic to it because he says, "You're the only one who understands me." And so Kramer's saying, "I understand why you treat your customers like shit. It's because you're a genius and you're brilliant." Hitler definitely had people around him who were like, "I get why you're so mean to the Jews. You have this great vision that no one else can see.
Yeah.
Like you must be able to think like that to be around him." So I kind of don't think he's a genie. I think he's just a Nazi cuck. This whole episode.
But Kramer, if he had left that soup store and gone across and gotten a cup of met somebody for a cup of coffee, like who was had views that were totally opposite, he would just become that. I think Kramer's just the
He flips
malleable.
off, yeah.
He flip flops and
Yeah.
like he would say like you suffer for your soup, and then if some guy next door was like, "Oh, the soup Nazi's a jerk," he would be like,
Well, who's the guy who says to him?
"Yeah," like he just goes with the flow.
Who's the guy who says to him, "How can you be, friends with like that guy Jerry?" And he goes, "Well, we're not that close."
Exactly. It's like,
I
dude,
forget what episode it is.
You're obviously really close with Jerry.
Yeah, right.
So Kramer's
Yeah,
got
anyways.
his
I
own.
don't know. Is he as close as he is as Bob Sacamano?
Or
I think he's
Jay
closer.
Riemenschneider, who eats horse meat.
Him
Yeah,
and
we don't
Jerry
know.
share blood.
This is true.
Oh, they are blood brothers.
Jay Riemenschneider.
Eats
Tommy,
horse
what
all
was
the
your
time.
trivia question from way back Wonder?
That's
Wonder?
Trivia question?
not-
I
They
asked
must.
say
They
that.
must be Eskimo brothers by
I was
now,
just
too.
what kind of person would work with the soup Nazi? Are they related?
Oh, other
Is it somebody
Nazis.
From the, yeah,
Oh.
so I guess we kind of just.
You're
I
right.
just
He's
assumed
just-
it was his cadre.
Fascistic type people.
Because first of all, who works in a soup place
So
to begin
Antifa.
with? That's I've never met somebody who works at a soup place. So I don't even
I used
know.
to go to a soup place by campus.
Panera Bread?
I don't think it's open
Yeah, who works at
anymore.
Panera Bread? Like students?
people.
That's not even a
Yeah.
soup place. I mean, they have soup there, but like,
I mean, I have
like a
students
place
who work
that's
at
like
Panera Bread.
primarily
Soup
soup,
place.
and then like grilled cheese is like this extra thing they plug in a
But
little.
the soup
thing
Nazi
on the
just
side.
serves soup, and you get soup and
And
bread.
bread.
That's it. And
Sometimes
I mean, not to
Reds.
give out free
$3.
endorsements, but there's a great soup place by you guys called Stone Soup out in Setauket. They make great soups.
You sure they're called
Good,
Stone
really
Soup?
good sandwiches.
There's also a
too.
soup a soup. The guy who the Soup Nazi is based on has a whole line of stores in. New
I was
York
actually
City
reading about
called
it,
the
and they
Soup
went
Man.
bankrupt and had to refiled. It's part of like some big like food brand.
They
now.
probably had
Actually,
shitty soup.
so I've eaten there,
And it's
before.
called the original
the
Soup
Man?
Man because they didn't want to be called the Soup Nazi, so
Yeah.
they named it the Soup
The
Man.
Soup Man, and I've eaten there. It's not that good.
They were too scared to have the name Nazi.
Yeah. You really don't taste the Nazi in the soup. It's just not there.
Well,
The-
you got to be a true Nazi if you're going to make Soup Nazi soup.
it doesn't have that fascist pop. You
The
know,
pain
It's
and
just-
suffering adds a lot of flavor.
Clearly,
So, first off, when he says, I demand perfection of myself, so why should I think any less of my customer? It's
does that
like,
mean?
Because they're a customer. Just make great soup and enjoy.
No,
You
that's
know what
not
you
how
made.
he
That's
phrases it. Even hold on, I wrote
it's
it.
really
down,
a clever commentary on social mores.
Which is another.
Yeah, he
homophobe.
goes,
Horstein? That's not a word.
He says you demand perfection from yourself from your soup, and he goes, "How can I tolerate any less from my customers? Like I
Tolerate.
tolerate. I only
Still
tolerate. He's only tolerating the perfect customers. Like he doesn't even want them or like them really.
Right.
He doesn't care about the money.
Yeah.
Or, he just cares
That's a good
about the
point.
soup.
Keywords. I mean, this is some
I mean,
of
you
my
have to
favorite
respect
Larry David
artists
writing
like
too.
that. You know, that,
Like does the soup Nazi sell soup to make money, or does he make money so that he can keep his
Continue
business
making
open so
soup.
he could continue making soup? Yeah, there are nut jobs out there like that.
yeah.
The Soup Nazi
I
was a
respect
real
him to a
guy,
degree.
and I was reading about it.
Yeah, he's
He,
the guy. He's the guy who opened the Soup Man shops.
Yeah, but he was
That's
a real
him.
guy.
He was
and
like, "Fuck
Jerry
it, I might as well get
apparently
something
Jerry
out of
went.
it."
Yeah,
And,
yeah, that's him.
Jerry went and visited right after the show went off the air because he was like visiting or he was like in New York or something, and he's like, "Yeah, I want to check it out." And he went in, and the guy just cursed him out and was like, "No soup for you. Get the fuck out." Like,
Oh, he's
people
mad?
call me a Nazi now because of you. Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, he's like a
And-
real
and-
soup guy.
Okay, so he was not happy with the show.
I imagine not. What if they made a show about Thunk Tank Podcast called Nazi?
would be awesome.
Nazi Tank Podcast.
Well, what?
Or no,
what
what if
evidence
it
do
was
they have?
no
specifically
downloads
that
for you. 1 year.
What if it
no
was
listen? You come back
specifically
1 year.
they-
Listen again.
They had a character called the Trumpet
Please
Cup,
get us
and
banned.
it's just
The
just
trumpet
the like
cuck? And that's
yeah,
just
and it's
Luke?
the most whiny, wimpy male feminist
Trumpets for Trump.
trumpet player character ever, and it was on
Drink your light
the
beer.
funk. It was on the Thunk Tank podcast.
water,
You'd be
I
like,
gotta
"What the
hydrate."
fuck?"
Yeah, no, it was on the Dunk Tank podcast. We'd be like, fuck
Dunk
those
Tank,
guys.
yeah.
Dunk Tank?
I guess so.
That's actually a pretty good.
I'll
name.
take
Maybe
the
we
I'll
should've
take
went
the
with
I'll
that.
take the downloads wherever they come from.
Would you?
Hate downloads, love downloads.
If everybody then in the street was yelling, "Hey, Nazi," you would be okay.
That would be
with
Yeah,
frustrating.
I
Yeah.
would stop podcasting. I don't
And
wanna
you
be
don't even
called
suffer for your art.
I suffer for some things, just not.
Yeah, you
What
like
art
what?
are you talking about? The art of drinking beer.
Well, I was going to call this art, and then I realized
I
what
was
an
in the art of
absurd statement that
podcasting.
is. Yeah. Well, what's
If
your
me-
version
if-
of soup?
So the
Paella.
best soup I've ever had in my life. Is that what you're asking me?
No, idiot. Thematically, like, what's your art, your passion? That's like his.
Oh, I would say for me personally, it's
The answer is obviously trumpet.
well.
Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
taking way too long. Trumpet.
All right, next, Johnny. What's
but
your?
I wouldn't say it's that. It's
Oh God, it's such a softball answer, bro.
No, I get it. I'm saying like trumpet is a manifestation of that, as is a lot of other things.
Well, trumpet is an instrument that you play.
I think that
Music.
that-
Oh, okay, good answer.
Music maybe
Way to
would
broaden
fit
it.
that.
Great.
Frog is wrong.
I don't even think it's that music though. I think
Frog is wrong.
anybody listening who got that line, well done.
Well played.
And
music
if you
is
didn't
your
get
soup.
it, it was
God
a line.
damn it. Tommy, what's your soup? Okay, Johnny, what's your soup?
Tommy burped a beer burp. He burped a beer burp.
It's definitely beer. My
You heard
soup
it here
is
first,
making,
folks.
is making beer.
We're on the same
Do
page.
you, you gotta ask me.
Oh,
You
Joe,
asked
what's
me
yours?
mine. Here's to living good all the time.
Oh, Kramer, yeah. Here's to living good all the time.
Oh, no, it's
Cheers to
feeling good.
feeling
good
Oh,
all the
he's
time.
chugging.
Oh, feeling
he's
good.
going.
Oh, Joe's chugging.
It's just,
There we go. How cold is it? It warmed up a bit. There you go. Oh, you missed one detail.
What?
You should have taken a hit of our tobacco pipe here.
Oh, you're right. I fucked up the line. It's
And-
here's
and-
to feeling good all the time.
Yeah.
Here's the feeling.
You do it again.
And-
Do it again.
and
Take two.
he
Take two.
burps,
Get another
he
beer.
burps smoke out.
Yeah, because he really
yeah.
did it. Because Michael Richards.
You
is
know,
fucking
the old
nuts.
episode where
Yeah.
they're sure someone's on drugs simply because they sniffed a little bit.
I'm hip to the scene, you know.
So now that we've covered most of this episode, we're clearly going off the rails. Michael Richards is nuts, and he really was chugging that beer and smoking that cigarette in that scene.
Because there's outtakes of that.
Because there's outtakes, but also like the parking garage episode where they're lost looking for their car and they can't find it. Which that episode is why when I'm in a parking garage now, I take a picture with my phone of where I park.
Oh yeah,
of like if it's purple 4 or whatever, B4, S7. I just take a picture with my phone, and I almost never go into my phone and pull it out to check.
But it's there.
But just knowing it's there, I can't. But so Kramer's walking around with a box with a television set in it. Or air conditioner in it.
Air conditioner.
Yeah.
And he's carrying it the whole time, and they gave him an empty box with like tissue paper in it, and he's like, no, I need to have the right weight.
Yeah.
And so they found like cinder blocks and threw it in there. And so you watch him struggle the whole episode, and the box slowly deteriorates throughout the episode.
I respect that, though.
See, that's suffering for your art.
That is suffering for your art.
That's fourth layer.
Yeah.
All right, I wrote down a few quotes from Soup Nazi episode that need to be said.
Faster.
Okay, so my favorite. So when they first go there in the beginning of the episode, they're in line, depending on where you're from.
Oh, God.
And Kenny Banya comes up to Jerry and goes, "Hey, Jerry, I didn't know you like soup." It's like, that's not an opening line. If you don't have anything better to say than that,
such a line that Kenny Banya would say.
First off, Jerry's just sitting in line.
Him.
It doesn't mean he likes soup. You know, like what... He's not a soup enthusiast. He's just getting some soup for lunch.
But also, who doesn't like soup? What percentage of the population?
Well, if you have chicken noodle soup, that would mean you don't like chickens and noodles and vegetables. Like,
was this episode before or after he got out of going to lunch, or he had to go to lunch?
I think this was later.
Yeah.
So that's probably why he was surprised he liked soup, because he was giving him such shit about
You think they were
Yeah.
they were making that connection?
Soup's not a meal.
You're right. No. This is what I mean. There's so many when you
think there are
start to
Easter
dive
eggs in there?
There's so many
going.
Easter
There's
eggs.
levels.
Like this.
Okay.
Levels.
So
Yeah,
Jerry,
that's a really good one. I like
Jerry's
that. Yeah.
telling him,
That's a
"Don't
tough
get
one.
soup. Like, get a sandwich. You know, like whatever. It could be a connection.
Soup's not a
Did
meal.
he crush up crackers in it?
Crumble, crush. Come on.
It's not a meal.
It's not.
And then this line, which my fiance says to me all the time, if I am
this was
pushing my luck, she goes, "You're pushing your luck, little man."
So just being you.
This is weird, guys.
For too
the
long.
The Soup Nazi. The Soup Nazi is the 6th episode of season 7, right?
Yeah.
Well, the 7th episode of season 6 is the Soup with Banya and Mendes. But they did 2 seasons in a row where within the first 10 episodes
That's a
they
long
have an
season
episode
arc,
about
man.
soup.
Whoa, wait. So we're wrong about everything we just said.
No, you're right.
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 Wait, Banya and the soup was what episode?
You just can't do math. You know,
Banya was
going from
season
6 to
6, episode 7.
Oh, okay. I missed
This
the
Soup
season
Nazi
difference.
Yeah.
You don't try, you do it.
You don't try, you do it. Okay.
Oh, I love this episode.
There's also
devolve more.
There's also the classic moment where Jerry is being all schmoopy with his girlfriend in the line for the Soup Nazi, which is shocking that they made it inside the building and he's still allowing this, or he even thought that this would be possible.
Well, as soon as the Nazi sees, it does not fly.
Okay, so what I noticed today watching it is, obviously, he goes, "There's no kissing in my line," right?
Nobody kisses in
And
my
then
line.
she goes, "You can't say that to me." And she's like, "Come on, Jerry, we're leaving." He doesn't leave at first. She comes back,
yeah.
and Jerry looks at the Soup Nazi. Soup
Yeah.
Nazi looks at Jerry.
Yeah.
Jerry looks at his girlfriend, looks at the Soup Nazi, looks back at his girlfriend, and goes, "Do I know you?"
And the look the Soup Nazi gives him is so interesting because it's this look of
He's training him.
Well, it's this look also of you wouldn't betray me. I am
The
what
Soup
you
Nazi
truly love.
knows that Jerry was with that girl.
And this ties into the genie thing.
"Do I know you?" doesn't make sense. The Soup Nazi knows that's just a
Yes.
cover.
Yes, but the Soup
The
Nazi
Soup
is also
Nazi
a
just
genie.
wants to see that Jerry is more loyal to him.
Yes.
And he's
'Cause
okay
he
with
clearly-
the fact that he found like a shitty girlfriend
And
that's
Jerry
annoying.
definitely got soup after that, right? Jerry definitely got soup.
Oh yeah, and I bet the Soup Nazi tagged that in the Soup Nazi memory as like this customer's getting better and better each time.
Yeah.
More loyal.
Yeah.
More
if
obedient.
anything, this episode is the Soup Nazi is the genie, and Elaine sort of Aladdin's him, and kind of is the mortal.
Keep going. Don't
It's
stop.
kind of the
Faster.
mortal diamond in the rough who outsmarts him. You know what I mean? It's like tricks the genie. Not only Yeah,
Even the genie can be tricked.
Yeah, you didn't grant my wish because of your dumb genie rules. Well, fuck you. I broke your whole lamp. You're trapped in there forever or whatever. Like, she totally
Right.
What?
She
No,
out
it's that classic
genies the
story where they
genie,
break
the
the
person
genie's
with
lamp
all
and
the
it's stuck
power.
in there forever.
Oh, I forgot about the Nazi in that story, right? Oh, wait, we're just talking about Indiana Jones now.
Yeah, Nazis in the Middle East, genies, throw those in. Why not? There really
we
should have
could
been
write
a genie.
dope
So
Indiana
the
Jones
soup Nazi
movie.
Indiana
looks
Jones 5, the genie's lamp. I would watch that. Even
No,
if
the
they
genie's
forced
lantern.
Shia LaBeouf into it.
Lantern lamp.
Right, because
Alliteration.
everybody thinks that a genie has a lamp.
You know what?
What's
It
a
could be
genie
that
doing with
somebody-
a lantern?
I bet somebody finds an iPhone and they the lights on and they try to clean the lens and then that's the lamp. You can make it all high.
You rub it while you're cleaning it.
Why is
Yeah.
it not a thing yet?
I think we can write a screenplay.
Yeah.
Wow, this is devolving hard really
Gen Z.
quick.
So the soup Nazi's looking at George with I'm sorry, he's looking at Jerry after the schmoopy girls wanting to leave with a look of I know you'll do the right thing, right?
Yeah.
He's looking at Jerry like, you've been a loyal customer. Please don't break my heart now. You've been one of my better ones, right?
But there's also a
And
little
Jerry looks
rage
at him
behind the look as well.
Well, there's
It's
a little bit
mixture. There's both.
I want to put the fear into you.
Yes.
You know what you should
It's
do.
fear and love together.
Well, it's like if you're the Nazi general,
fascism.
and your
Right,
your
much
lower
like fascism, yeah.
your lower
Yeah.
officer is doesn't want to follow the order. The order you gave is quite cruel, but you go, I insist. That's an order, Captain. And then the captain doesn't want to do it. They want to see that the person's going to really follow through.
But also the alternative does look pretty good because he has a hot girlfriend. So he understands that there's still a struggle there.
But did Jerry do the honorable thing? No. He just wants soup, and he thought it's easier to patch things up with a girlfriend than with a soup Nazi.
But he's not wrong.
Jerry's not being honorable. He's not being like a soldier. He's just
Well, yeah.
I like the soup. I really want soup.
I really got upset when the show went from then being honorable like soldiers and kind of devolved over the course of the series.
Yeah, it used to be like that, right?
It used to be so good.
All right, another great Elaine line that I wrote down.
I'm losing it.
I don't think George has ever thought that he's better than anybody.
Wait, that's from that episode?
Jerry goes, hey, you know something weird with George? George is acting weird, like he's better than me or something. And Elaine thinks for a second, and Elaine knows that
They had that conversation.
They already
right?
had the conversation about Jerry being annoying, so she knows what the explanation is.
Right.
And she kind of thinks and goes, I don't think George has ever thought he's better than anybody. He's clearly got an inferiority complex. We don't help him with it because we wouldn't want him to succeed and leave us behind. We all feel good being failures
it's not
together.
even that. I think it's just
tragic.
I got
It's a
stuff
tragedy.
to do. It's not my job. It's not my job to make George feel okay in the world.
Yeah, but it's
he's just a friend of mine. I'll meet him for a sandwich at the coffee shop.
Yeah,
but I'm not gonna help counsel him and therapize him.
Yeah, it's kind of really sad commentary when you look at it that way. That so many of, they're really mirrors to a lot of just societal behavior that so many of us can really associate with, and how many people do you know, especially as they get older, and Jerry sums it up in that monologue that he gives in the restaurant to the lawyer woman when he's trying to act depressive and dark. But it's so true. That's so what they are acting as. They're acting as these mirrors of people who wind up stagnating and people who say, yeah, I'm going to change. I'm going to grow up. I'm going to finally do what I want to do and be who I want to be. And with every flicker of the candles, we know it's not meant to be.
Well, so we laugh because of the truth in what Seinfeld characters represent.
Because we see it in ourselves and each other.
It's very easy to get stuck in the same patterns over and over.
Yes, exactly. And they make fun of it, but I think that's why it's so broadly appealing, too.
But when the characters in Seinfeld actually have a moment of transcendence where they go, I can become something different, the universe goes smack and pushes them back down. And there's the only wisdom that Seinfeld might be delivering to us is that Kramer is the most free character because he just goes with the flow.
Yeah.
They live in a weird warped universe. It's like an antimatter universe where all coincidences happen.
There's a great line that sums that
and
up.
Kramer
too,
is okay with it. He just goes with the flow.
Yeah. Who is it when Jerry tries to get back together with Mulva after he realizes that I have.
First off, that's just a great sentence. If you didn't know Seinfeld,
who the fuck's Mulva? Because George says when they see her on the street, he goes Mulva. He goes, yeah, Mulva.
Yeah.
But she says, oh, what happened with your fiance? Because he thinks he's going to get back together with her because he looks responsible because he was engaged and then failed at that too.
Yeah.
And she says, oh, so what happened? And he goes, oh, it was the most mutual breakup in breakup history. Like, we just both walked away, and she goes, no, come on, really? And he says, no, seriously. And then she gets up and she says, I
thought you grew up.
When I heard that you were engaged, I thought that you had changed, but there's clearly no growth here. And Jerry doesn't argue with her. Jerry just says, well, I can't argue with that, but the fact remains.
Yeah.
And he was going to say that I was engaged, but you just subverted the fake
whole meaning
idea
of it. Yeah.
behind what you were trying to use as
The
a
whole
tricky
point.
tool to get back together with this woman whose name you never knew.
What do you think of this theory I've been cooking up? That
I think you need a job. And we've been saying that for the past 20 episodes.
yeah, again, listeners, if anybody has any side work that could help me out.
But go ahead. What theory did you think of today on Friday when you were at work?
I was working on the podcast research. No, the idea that the whole show of Seinfeld is Jerry's weird little kid comic book memory of events. And so evil people are like soup Nazis and Newmans, but everybody is just normal people with their quirks, and it's just Jerry's little comic book kid mind that makes it into the dramatic form that we experience as Seinfeld.
Well, I think that's what it's derived from, right? That's sort of the
Superman wore a cape. like the way he says that is you will crush my whole worldview if you're gonna say a damn thing bad about Superman.
Oh, that's really mature. Hey, look, a dinosaur.
He's a comedian, though. He purposely picked a job. We like to think of our
joke
comedians
maker.
as these dark people now, and drug addicts or drunks or whatever, outsider type people culturally. But Jerry was no, it's a job where I could eat cereal and watch cartoons all morning because I don't have work till 7:30 p.m.
Right. I can go to the coffee shop with George every day.
He the actual person Jerry Seinfeld seemed to. He gets that out of the comedy. It's he loves jokes, telling jokes, writing jokes. The guy, and it's this is the best job. I can just hang out all day and do what I want to do, which is read Superman comics. Which he's the most boring of the major superheroes.
Do you know why?
Yeah,
he's Superman. Heroes without limitations are pretty boring.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
But I think we're pretty much done here. So I had one last trivia question.
Go for it.
Yeah.
So it's the rest of that clip from the finale. But what happens to the soup Nazi? I feel like this is a good question to end it on because we where he came from and all that shit. So
He's giving away all his soup. He's going back to Argentina.
Shit.
Is that the answer?
Yeah, that's it.
Damn.
I tell you something else. You're banned.
There's only they tell you 2 times. They tell you at the end of that episode and right here. Oh wait,
How to order.
here we go.
I banned that one, the woman, for a year.
This is the finale.
Then one day, she came back.
5 cups, chopped porcini mushrooms.
Oh, we don't need to see.
No
that.
more soup for you. Next!
Published my recipes. I had to close the store and move to Argentina. She ruined my business.
This soup's not all that good anyway.
What did you say?
So he's Argentinian.
He's from
Well,
Argentina.
That's where Hitler went.
Well,
a
after the war.
lot of Nazis fled to Argentina.
That's
after
true,
the war.
yeah.
That's where
So,
the
that's the
Empire
joke.
went after Return of the Jedi. Who else went there? A lot of
No,
fascists.
no,
That's
it's
where
true.
they built. That's
I
where
don't
they
know if
built
they
all
all
the
went
Death
to
Star
Argentina,
destroyers.
but
That's
yeah.
when
Death Star
Piled
destroyers.
in there.
That's when old Palpatine built his Death Star destroyers. He was in Argentina.
In fact, I don't know if you know this, but Tierra del Fuego means land of snoke tanks. Right, Joe?
I think we're done. That's what I think.
I think we're done.
Wait, I have one more
It was such
funny.
an I know exactly what
At
you
the
mean.
at
but
the ending of this episode, the soup Nazi goes to Elaine just to prove his point. When she goes, "Thank you so much," and he goes, "If I had known it was for you, I would have smashed it to pieces.
I would have hacked it into a million pieces.
First off, you could have just not given it to her. But he's trying to say, this
Yeah.
is how much I despise what you are.
I think we'll never truly understand. Whatever.
Oh, I thought you had something there.
I feel like that's a good way to end the episode.
Sums it up.
Do you have any
So
any other
I
thoughts
think
on
I
it?
think we've settled. I think for each episode we analyze, we should figure out who is primary genie. I think we settled on Soup Nazi for this episode.
Yeah, he just loses to Immortal, which confuses you because the genies usually end up on top. But
No, but
monkeys
but
with
Kramer
typewriters.
might still be a genie in this episode. He
Yeah,
just
he's
wasn't
definitely still a
primary
genie.
genie.
Just out genied him.
Who was
primary
alpha genie?
genie.
Because
It's all about
Kramer's
alpha
the one that
genie.
screwed over the
Yeah.
Soup Nazi. Soup Nazi trusted Kramer.
So-
Kramer should have mentioned, it's my friend Elaine who got kicked out of here for a year.
I don't know about alpha. I like primary, secondary, tertiary genie. Let's do it that way.
So we need to figure out primary
Point of
genie for
genie
every
order.
episode.
Sorry.
yeah, for every
interrupt you,
episode,
Luke.
there's got to be a primary genie. And it's often Kramer, but sometimes
All right,
it's
let's
other
vote.
people. Like one episode is the doorman, for example. The
Primary
doorman,
genie.
primary
Yeah,
genie.
that
He's like
episode.
I don't know,
ultra primary
just
genie.
to mess with him. Like,
Probably sitting around having a good laugh with all his
Yeah.
genie buddies.
I'm just
I
going
don't
to
have
go
to
out and
talk
grab
to
a
you.
beer. It's like, wait, why are you going to grab a beer?
I vote Soup Nazi as a primary genie.
Primary genie, Soup Nazi.
I third
Are we
that.
hiling
is
our
it-
Yeah,
hands
I mean,
up?
Is it,
it was my it was my theory.
Unanimous?
So yeah,
Is it
I'm for
unanimous?
It's unanimous.
It's unanimous.
All right, so primary genie and secondary is Kramer. And
Secondary primary. I would say tertiary is Elaine.
yeah.
for sure.
I would switch those two.
I would, yeah.
You could make that argument.
You
I'm
could
just
definitely
too
make
tired.
that argument, yeah.
I guess we're not doing a second episode.
Can we do another episode? I want to do another episode.
On
Okay.
Seinfeld?
On whatever.
All right, thanks for listening, guys.
We'll be back
If you
soon
like our
with more
Seinfeld
Sign
episodes,
Share them.
We're all gonna
Let us
keep
know.
going. We're all gonna talk at once. That's all I'll just say.
We could do an Always Sunny episode.
Oh, yeah.
Let's do an Always Sunny episode.
We still have to do like the zoomed out Always Sunny analysis.
I mean, we don't have to do anything.
We don't have to do
I don't
anything.
work here.
We can cancel the podcast right now.
Hey,
so
you do
please
work
tweet
here,
at us
Joe.
and say
This is one of the
hashtag
two
don't
places
cancel
you
Thunk
do
Tank.
work.
Thank you guys for listening. No, seriously. If you actually listen to this episode all the way through, you're a fucking rock star. We love you almost as much as we love Seinfeld. Whatever you do, if you're really a good person,
Always leave a note.
If you can ask and really assess and look deep into your heart and soul, and you really look there, what you should see is that you should be liking, sharing, and subscribing us all over the internet.
Yeah.
So do that.
What Joe's trying to say is,
or you're a piece of shit.
what Joe's trying to say
And
is
we
the,
love you.
the Thunk Tank is one of the best tanks ever. You better believe it, buddy.
Or else, no podcast for you. 1 year.
All right. Any closing thoughts?
No,
That's what I like to know about
Giddy
it.
up.
All right. Giddy up.
We're just devolving to Seinfeld quotes.
All right. Thanks, everyone, for listening to the Thunk Tank Podcast. Hope you enjoyed it. If you want to help us out, please consider leaving a rating or a review wherever you listen to podcasts, and share it with people you think might like it. And if you really want to support us, you can go over to patreon.com/ThunkTankPodcast. We have links to this in the episode description and other places. And for as little as $1 an episode, you can help us keep the lights on. And you also get access to a very special Drunk Tank feed of episodes. So every few episodes, we'll have a few more beers and record an extra 20 to 30 minutes of extra thunky, silly whateverness. So there's a separate RSS link you can get from there, and if you put that into a podcast player, you'll get your own separate feed of only the Drunk Tanks. I think we have about 6 or 7 of them out already, and more to come. Thanks for listening, and stay thunky.